Hey guys, we've got 3 adductor strengthening exercises. So if you've got weakness in the groins or the adductors, or you're struggling with some hip pain, you've got a bit of an imbalance in there, the adductors are a key muscle group that you need to strengthen, whether you're an athlete or you're just someone that trains, or as I said, if you've got pain or weakness in around the hips and pelvis. These are going to be 3 exercises that are really going to help you out. So there's going to be 2 that are more just targeting the adductors themselves, and there'll be 1 more functional one at the end, integrating it with a bit more of a movement involved, all right? So yeah, hip adduction is what the adductors are known for, so bring the hip in across the body that way. So adduction, also internal rotation and flexion as well. So yeah, the adductors have quite a big role. They're quite a big muscle group spanning from right up in the pubic bone all the way down to the knee. So they're really integral in performance, but also management of pain and that sort of thing. So let's get into the first exercise. So we're going to need a plyo box here or a wall. So you're going to lie on your side. You want your feet and hips at a 90-degree angle. So if you come around the top here, Leo, just so you can show them the 90 degrees. And then when you come back down here, you want your feet nice and flat on the box there. So don't have your foot turned out, don't lift your foot off. So you want your whole foot staying in contact with the box or the wall there. Then what we're doing, maybe coming in the top here again, Leo. So you want to shift that top hip forward. So my knees are in line with each other, shift that top hip forward. And then what we're going to do is lift this bottom knee up to the top knee. So using my adductor here, squeezing up, nice and controlled, bring it up as high as I can to that top knee. And then we're going to slowly lower back down. So this might be a bit of a struggle. You might feel like you're going to cramp in the adductors. If that is the case, don't go quite as high. Start off where you can manage to get that knee to knee. And then we're just slowly squeezing up there, making sure that your feet are staying in contact. You're not rolling onto the outside of the foot, lifting the heel off.
Hello, Patreonos!
Patreonos!
Check out our latest Patreon releases.
What? He's there. Come on, show your leg.
It's my turn.
Yep.
Right, I'm done.
Patrono pole dancing for you. I'm going.
All right, grab them.
To join, click the link in the description.
That whole foot staying on the box there or against the wall and touching there nice and slow. Keep that hip pushed forward. This way we're still working this glute here at the top, and then we're getting that bottom adductor really squeezing on there, and then we're just going to slowly go through some reps here. So it's really important to start to strengthen that adductor to regain that balance around the hip and the pelvis, and a lot of people are lacking strength in there. If you've struggled with osteitis pubis and groin pain, this will be a great exercise to build up some strength, targeting those adductors in there. All right, so really building the strength. You can feel it working quite high up as well, so right up into the groin. So there's high attachment points, which is where you really want to target. All right, so nice and slow and squeezing up. And then you can also, once you've got there, you can go a bit higher. Again, keep that top hip forward and really lift up nice and high. All right, so still going a bit more range there, squeezing up. So start off doing 10 reps on one side, then we'll roll over, we'll do 10 reps on the other side as well. So let's go around the other way so we're nice and balanced. So again, showing here, starting the feet there, shift that top hip forward, and then we're squeezing the bottom hip up, that bottom knee up towards the top knee there. Squeeze nice and controlled. All right, relax your head down and squeezing up. This might be a bit of a struggle if you haven't worked these muscles before. I have had some clients that have cramped or they feel like they're about to cramp. That's where you, again, just regress to where you're at. You might even have your feet together to start with, so it's really minimal. So feet together and really externally rotate that top leg, so you'll get a lot of glute activation as well. But then that bottom adductor is really working hard. All right, squeezing up. There. Nice and controlled. So if you're starting off with this exercise, you can do 10 reps, 3 times on each side. And then we're going to move on to the Copenhagen plank. So the Copenhagen plank. So this is quite an advanced exercise, but there are some regressions that you can try. So we're going to be in this side plank position. So I want to set up so my elbow is directly under my shoulder and I'm lined up on the side here. So my leg So I want about the shin on there, on the bench, so there's not going to be too much strain put on my knee if my ankle's on the bench there. So make sure that your shin's on the bench there, nice and covered, and you're not going to put too much strain through this top knee. So we're going to be working the top adductor here. So the first progression or regression is if just lift up, you can keep this bottom leg on the floor there. So I'm still feeling like this adductor is pulling me up. So as I'm lifting off the ground, this hip is pulling into the bench and that's lifting me up there. And then I've got to stabilize through my core. So you're getting adductor and you're also strengthening through your obliques and your core here. So if you come around the top side, Leo, so we're making sure that our body is nice and aligned. We're not rolling too far forward like this. So really holding strong through this shoulder, strong through the core, and this adductor is getting really worked. So as I said, this is quite an advanced exercise with this arm, this top arm. Start out, and then you just reach across your body, and we're just going to hold there. All right, so you can start. If you can only hold for 5 seconds, just do that and then rest. Have a 5-second rest, and then come back up. Hold again. Aim to get slowly as you do it more and more, build up that strength, build up that endurance. So isometrics are really good, so you can build that strength in the adductor there. Just going through an isometric hold, it's really good for building strength, building around the tendons and around the joints. I'm just going to have a quick rest there. So yeah, adductor, isometric can also have that analgesic effect, so you can decrease your pain in there. So we've demonstrated a lot of isometric exercises before, but this is a great one to do to really target the adductors there. All right, so the next progression is the hardest version. So let's see if I can even do it myself. So yeah, I'm going to lift myself up here, and then I'm going to take this bottom leg off the floor, and it comes up to 90 degrees. So now my core's really having to stabilize, and this top adductor is really having to dig in, and then we're just going to hold there. Pulling my abs in as well, rib cage down, so core's engaged. And again, just start off slow, do a few short reps, 5-10 seconds if that's all you can do, and then reset again. Let's come up, set myself, and then that leg comes off, hold, 90-degree angle. I'm nice and stable through the core, really digging that adductor in. Can feel it again up high in the groin, which is really important if you have struggled with osteitis pubis and yeah, groin pain before. All right, let's spin around and do the other side as well to make sure we're balanced. So come back around there, Leo. All right, setting up the other side. So it's important to do both sides to make sure you are balanced in the groins and you're not building up a compensation or an imbalance and have one stronger side than the other. So again, starting shin on the bench. We'll start with the regression first, just so I can build up on this side, nice and strong. You might also notice that one shoulder is more stable, or you're more strong through the core on one side. So that's something to take note of that you might need to work on, build on if one side's a bit weaker than the other. All right, and then let's ramp up. Oh, so already for me, this feels a bit of a weaker side for me. You might be able to see I'm already getting a few shakes in there. So this adductor doesn't quite feel as strong. So just holding there and then relax back down. So yeah, there could be a bit of an imbalance there for me. Left side is my kicking side for football. So that could be where there's a bit of a weakness and imbalance. But that's something that, yeah, I've just learned going through this exercise. So again, tune into those things and see you might need to do a little bit more work on that weaker side than you do on the strong side. So lifting up. Let's go, strong core, stable through that shoulder, abs are on, reach forward with that top arm. The goal here would be to try and build up. If you can hold this for 30 seconds, you're a machine, all right? So there it is, the Copenhagen plank. That's the exercise number 2. Now we're onto the hip hinge. So now we're onto a functional sort of hip hinge that's going to bias the adductors, all right? So we've demonstrated an exercise with a band before, doing a lunging type movement where it's pulling the knee in. This time I'm going to pull the knee out that way. So I'm going to step through the band, so my leg that is closest to it. Then I'm going to step away. So this way it's pulling me out that way. And I have to resist by squeezing my adductor to keep my knee tracking over sort of my big and second toe there. So it's not letting that hip and that knee bow out. So really strong. Now if you come around to the side here, Leo, we're going through a hip hinge. So we're not lunging. We're going to make sure we're going through that split stance hip hinge. So bum goes backwards, 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 diving our upper body forward, making sure, again, we're pulling that band out, using that adductor, and then we're going to slowly stand back up. Again, not letting that knee waver out. It's always pulled in against that band. You can really test it out by putting more tension on that band. So I've got to dive over, really working that glute, so this front glute, but this adductor is working as well. So we're starting to build back up and target more the adductor strengthening in a more biomechanical rhythm. So if we're walking or running, this is where we want to start to build that strength. So we've started off adductor specific with the first 2 exercises, and now we're starting to incorporate it in with some movement patterns. So really dive over, push that hip back. This front glute is really burning, and then slowly moving through. So you're just doing some nice slow reps here. You will feel the glute working as well, which is good. You want to start to get that co-contraction, adductors, glutes, dive over, push back, keep your back nice and flat, cores engaged, and coming back up there. Keep going, nice and slow, push it back. Dive over, the adductors really working again, high up in the groin there. You can adjust where the band is if you want to go up higher. That will again bias, you'll have to squeeze a bit more higher adductor here because that resistance is more up at the hip rather than down at the knee. So the higher up the band goes, again, that's going to pull my hip more towards the outside. So I've got to hold it up higher in the groin there. So just by adjusting that simple little thing. So yeah, here you can see my knee doesn't change from its location there. It's tracking still over that big and second toe. And I'm really starting to burn up here, both in the groin and the adductor. So there it is, there's my top 3 exercises for building strength in your groins. Yeah, if you've struggled with pain in the hip and pelvis area, osteitis pubis. So yeah, this will be great for getting you back to competing if you're an athlete, or if you're just someone that's trying to rid yourself of pain, improve your body, improve your mechanics. Add these 3 exercises in. They're probably in that order of regression and progression. Start off with the wall knee to knee. Copenhagen planks, if you can't do the full ones, do the regressed version where your bottom leg is on the floor. And then definitely add in the functional exercise where you're challenging your groins with your glutes. All right, so there it is, guys. 3 exercises to strengthen your groins and your adductors. Get it done.